Hello. How is everybody? Okay. Yay. Hi guys. Good morning. Let me lower that a little bit so I can, oh, I look like I have a huge, I can't change that. Okay, there we go. How are y'all? I hope that you are doing well today. Good morning on this first Sunday of 2022. And, I hope you've all seen the memes this week that turned Betty White into a hero for not dying in 2022. Like, I feel real sadness that she's gone, but I love the shift that everybody has made, and I feel like it's in her spirit that we're ascribing hero status to her for not dying in this new year. So, hang on just a second. All right. Okay. So, welcome to the Weekly Wild. I don't know why I'm getting so many flares today, but we'll try to fix it a little bit. I'm going to scoot over a little. There we go. Okay. Welcome to my home. And it's really funny, this whole thing. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to this brand new spanking year. And I have always entered New Year's with a sense of optimism and of, oh my God, I'm going to be so much better this year. That feeling of how we can be better people and I can be a better person. And not look like a ghost on my own video. I set this whole thing up yet again. And yet again, I'm just new at this, and I hope you'll forgive my noob status with this. Next week I'm going to do it on my phone again, so we'll try that. So I hope my white face, red lips, and blue eyes, vibrate into your life like that. So, new year, and I hope that you have retained a tiny bit of optimism for this year. I think we're all tired of how things are, but you know what? At the very end of something, there's that big push, right? And I feel like I know that no, I don't know. But I hope and feel that we are in that last big push for dealing with the pandemic and this huge surge that's happening right now. I'm just going to say it. District 11, Colorado Springs, you guys need to man and woman up and have masks in schools until this thing is over, because my little town, our numbers, my county, we're the highest in Colorado, and we need to own that and act accordingly, like adults. So there, I said it. That's my first rant of today. I don't really want to do rants today. And I'm not going to be talking about the Bible today. So I don't know if you're glad about that or you're not glad about that. But let's first do an invocation. And I want to do a thing that I posted, actually. And it is just beautiful. Hang on just a second. Okay. All right. Yeah, I am going to just read this one. Okay. So here's our invocation for this week. O great Spirit of the North, we come to you and ask for the strength and the power to bear what is cold and harsh in life. We come like the buffalo, ready to receive the winds that truly can be overwhelming at times. Boy, do we know how that feels this week. I'm going to stop my invocation and send out my own love and care again, and our love and care out to all the people in Colorado who experienced 100-mile-per-hour winds this week and lost their homes. I know people who did, and people who are displaced right now, and I'm very sorry. We come like the buffalo, ready to receive the winds that truly can be overwhelming at times. Whatever is cold and uncertain in our life, we ask you to give us the strength to bear it. Do not let the winter blow us away, O Spirit of life and Spirit of the North. We ask you for strength and for warmth. O great Spirit of the East, we turn to you where the sun comes up, from where the power of light and refreshment come. Everything that is born comes up in this direction. The birth of babies, the birth of the puppies, the birth of ideas, and the birth of friendship. Let there be the light, O Spirit of the East. Let the color of fresh rising in our life be glory to you. O great Spirit of the South, Spirit of all that is warm and gentle and refreshing, we ask you to give us this spirit of growth, of fertility, of gentleness. Caress us with a cool breeze when the days are hot. Give us seeds that the flowers, trees, and fruits of the earth may grow. Give us the warmth of good friendships. O Spirit of the South, send the warmth and the growth of your blessings. O great Spirit of the West, where the sun goes down each day to come up the next, we turn to you in praise of sunsets and in thanksgiving for changes. You are the great colored sunset of the red west which illuminates us. You are the powerful cycle which pulls us to transformation. We ask for the blessings of the sunset. Keep us open to life's changes, O Spirit of the West. When it is time for us to go into the earth, do not desert us, but receive us in the arms of our loved ones. That's so good. That's by Diane New, and it is from a book called Earth Prayers. Okay. I just want to make sure that I am doing, yeah. Okay. I think we're good there. All right. Hi, everybody, if you're just joining me. I still haven't figured out how to use my webcam and see comments, so I think I'm going to start just shooting on my phone. If anybody has an opinion, let me know, and we can figure it out. So, I don't know why I'm like a white-faced ghost in this one today. Wait. I've like blocked everything. It's okay. All right, we're just going to do this. So, that was from Earth Prayers. I keep getting a thing about this. Hang on. I just want to make sure. Can everybody see okay? Could somebody message me if you're not like seeing? Nope. Okay. All good. Okay. All right. Okay. Hi, everybody, again. I keep trying to be a good filmmaker and use my really lovely webcam, and for some reason I haven't figured out the settings. I thought I used to think that I was good at tech until I started, making my own website and making my own store. And I managed those. I'm seeing like all the crap on my shirt. Okay. I managed those. Like I did it. And I can't figure out how to do my webcam with a Facebook Live. Anyway, welcome again to the Weekly Wild. And I will tag on the earlier start that we had with the invocation onto the video when I put it onto my YouTube channel for everybody. But if you want to if you're going to watch just this video, you can hear all the wires that it's just so frustrating. I got the invocation from this lovely book, Earth Prayers. It's probably reversed because I'm on my phone, but that's okay. Earth Prayers, lovely book. Okay, so for everybody who comments on today's video, if anybody joins me, then I am still giving away the last now 5 copies that I have of my first print run of my book, my first book, I should say. And it is, I think links are in the event, but it is the Oat Project. It is a memoir about the summer of 2007 when I did 25 things that I had never done before, and they were wild, kind of wild oats things. If you haven't read it or read about it yet, I grew up as a very sheltered preacher's daughter and finally left the church, and finally, with the help of a bunch of friends, mom friends, they said, hey, you need to do some wild things. So I did a bunch of wild things, including, let's see, I got drunk for the first time. I went dancing for the first time. I went skinny dipping. That was an adventure. And it's the story of that entire summer, as well as fast forwarding to 9 years later and kind of all the consequences and transitions and transformations that came out of that book and just doing the project. And I lovingly call it my pre-therapy book. I'm going to show you one more time because I'm retooling the cover for a relaunch in just the next few weeks, and you'll see a course. This is another ta-da, but I'm making a course based on my book about how to integrate the wild into our everyday lives. And it uses the book kind of a little bit like a Bible, not really a Bible, more like don't do this than do this. Because I learned a lot of how to risk and how not to risk and what wild really means in my own everyday life. And I hope that I can help you figure that out for yourself, as well as just make it almost an unthinking part of your life where you just naturally do some wild things and honor it. So one of the things that the main thing that I would like to talk about today is, it's a New Year's kind of a message. But first, I do want to let you guys know, last week, I broadcast from my own personal page, and that video is on the Church of Wild website, and it is on YouTube. So it is there. Because Facebook, again, I'm trying to figure all that out. And I promised that I would finish this little book that I've been writing about discipline by today. So I made an unwise choice. I'm moving my notepad. Okay. I made a little bit of an unwise choice, but I really needed to make this choice. I printed it out. It's a personal disciplines. And I've been working on it all week. So thank you for letting me promise you. I probably should not have promised you in the same week that I got my COVID booster, because dang, like today is the first day that I woke up really feeling normal. Still a little achy. I just respond to it really intensely, and I did. I think I got it on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was down for the count for at least a couple of days. So please forgive me for not presenting you with a manuscript today. But I do have the manuscript, and I am actually promising you got me moving forward and creating that motion, right? And that movement. So you'll hear about it soon, and you'll hear about the course this week. I'm going to send my first mass email to all of you. I kind of hate getting those, but I really want to share with everybody who is my Facebook family. And I really mean that. Finally, I have no disdain for it. No, I don't like the corporate nature of the whole meta thing and all the things that Facebook does wrong. However, you have got me through some tough times, man. Oh my God, you've gotten me through some tough times. So I honor you, and I honor this, and I'm going to send you a message about everything that's coming up and links to my store where I sell leggings and other clothes, and I hope you'll check stuff out. And that leads me to what I want to talk about today. And this is not finished. I hope you know that I'm trying to err on the side of speaking with you about things that I have not figured out yet. Like, it is not that I don't... I'm looking at myself, trying to think it out. It's not that I don't really respect figuring something out completely inside my head, and the writing process and the creation process, and how we, the mastery and the craft of making something, right? Fine with that. However, that's not what this is for. This is where I really want to, I'm sorry, the imperfect action, man. I'm taking it today because I really am pissed off that my webcam didn't agree with me. But I really don't want to always arrive here with something settled in my mind. For me, that's not the point. And it may take a little longer to have these talks because I'm not showing up and giving you in 30 seconds a soundbite of something that I've figured out. Those will come. I trust that. I hope that you share those with me. But this place is a place of the imperfect action. And so what I'm sharing with you today is not settled in my mind, and I'm just going to kind of work through it verbally. Okay? I made a few notes because I actually had a little time this morning to do that. Maybe I should have been testing my webcam again. Good morning, Joe Carroll. Hello. So this morning, I have hi, Glenn. And I want to tell both of you, and anybody else who shows up, what I just said is really actually important. And that is that this time that we spend every Sunday is not intended as a place where I spout off about something that I've settled in my mind. It is a place where I bring some things that I'm struggling with, and I talk through them and hopefully learn something in the process, and also hopefully share something that improves your life as well. That's an audacious statement, and I recognize that. But I know in my gut that that's how I'm supposed to function with this. So, so thank you for coming. Okay. So this morning, 3 years ago, I'm backing up. 3 years ago, I read my book out loud on Facebook Live, and it is on the YouTube channel as well. And at the end of it, I read it every night at 7 o'clock for 21 days straight. It took that long. And at the end of it, I gifted myself with a little espresso maker. And I go off coffee sometimes. I usually only drink like a double shot in the morning, and maybe sometimes if I'm going to have a late night, you know, maybe something at lunch. But I tend to drink tea all day instead of coffee. But, you know, a double shot, I feel privileged to be able to make my own double shot in my own house. And brewed coffee gives me anxiety. I'll put a link to the science about that in this, because there's actually some science behind that. So I have a double shot every morning. Let me see. It's right here. This was my mother's cup from a little tea set. And it's empty. Mostly. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So, oh God, this is going to be a little rambly. I'm just warning you today. So, I was like kind of rushing like I always am. And I went to, grind the coffee, and it wasn't working, and it wouldn't turn on. And then I realized, oh wait, I unplugged everything because I live in an old house. You can see the antique pine, paneling. That's original. This was built in 1950. And the electrical stuff sometimes goes wonky, especially in the kitchen where I want to plug everything in. And last night, thank you, Joe Carroll. Joe Carroll, the amazing artist, Joe Carroll Sobrowski. We were talking kind of late last night, and she was like, "Are you eating your black-eyed peas and greens for New Year's?" And I wasn't. And I had started soaking some chickpeas to make hummus. And so I didn't have any black-eyed peas, but I went into the soup mix and I picked out all the black-eyed peas just for you, Joe Carroll. I mean, for myself. But I picked them all out and I put them in my Instapot and I turned it on, and it tripped the breaker in my kitchen, and I didn't realize it. So it took me like, I was eating beans and greens at 11 o'clock last night. That was, that was my night. So everything was unplugged, because if you plug in the Instapot with everything else plugged in, it trips the breaker. So I went to grind my coffee this morning, and it wasn't working. And I went and I looked at the breaker, and I plugged them in where they were supposed to go, and nothing was working. It still wouldn't turn on. And then I noticed that my espresso maker was turning on, but the grinder wasn't. And I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just drink instant coffee. But for some reason, I was just determined to figure this out, because it should have been working, kind of like my webcam. And so I looked and looked again, and I got so frustrated in the moment because it was taking too long. And I was just really frustrated with things not working. And I'm going to cry. If my therapist ever watches these, she's like, I hope she's not making notes, because I hope she's watching as my friend and not my therapist. But she's like, oh, she cried there. Oh, she cried there. Like, I'm making notes for myself. Oh, I cried here. This is something I need to work through, right? I was just so damn frustrated with things that don't work. Why do I keep having things that don't work in my life? And why can't I just fix them? And it of course amplified inside of me, like, bye Glenn, thank you. Have a good day. Happy New Year. I amplified it to be like, I'm broken, right? Which I have done so much work on. Oh my God. I've done so much work on that. Like, and here it came up again. This coffee grinder is not working because I'm broken. So I plugged it in. I want to look at something real quick. So I finally found where I hadn't noticed that I had plugged in the wrong thing in the wrong outlet. I had switched them. And in that moment, I thought two things. One, come on, give me a break. But on the other one, I thought, like, where in my life, I thought metaphorically, because that's how I think, where in my life am I missing the right outlet? And I don't mean like outlet, like a platform. Just where do I think I'm getting energy, but I'm not? And for me, that's a really profound thing to take into the new year. What is actually giving me energy and what actually isn't? I tend to default to rest, which is crucial, but I would like a better balance between rest and movement, right? I would like to maybe default to movement more than rest, or a little bit more this year. So resolution number 1. But even in that moment, and this is really kind of bearing my weird brain to you guys, I do think a lot of how we as humans move through time. And so I think of like my ancestral heritage, kind of. And this last year I did some stuff on Ancestry.com, and to discover, a lot of people have lied about having some sort of indigenous heritage, because I thought I was a 16th Cherokee, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing there. White, whitey, white, white. Like even German and Swedish or something. It was crazy, and hardly any Irish. I've always associated myself with, I'm English, Irish, and American Indian. Lies. It was all lies. However, coming over here, most of my family lived in the West Virginia and the deep South, where all the Scottish people lived. And there has always been quite a lot of poverty. If any of my family ever watches this, like my extended family, my cousins and aunts and uncles, and I'm wrong, please correct me on this. But from what I could tell from how people, like the census records and that kind of thing, there's always been a lot of poverty. And, I grew up eating beans and cornbread, hardly any meat, until I was in late middle school, just because of being a poor preacher's kid. And I really recognized, hi Debbie, I recognized the frustration I was feeling with having what seemed to be broken again coffee grinder this morning, with I can never have nice things, and with this embedded sense of scarcity that is always there. And I vacillate between wanting to be frugal and a good steward, but also then a scarcity mindset that I have to save things just in case, and that I can't trust that income or whatever will flow. I always have to be, I can't hope too much. I can't plan too much. I can't dream too much. Like that whole mindset flashed through me in an instant as I was standing in my kitchen this morning, frustrated that my coffee grinder wasn't working. What else is going to break? I'm going to try things. What else is going to break? And, in that moment, I felt like I was fighting against my destiny or my genes or my ancestry. It comes down to that little philosophical dilemma, right? Hi, Susan. What is like nature, nurture? What do we own in our own lives? Why do we do things? Do we do them out of our will and hope? Or do we do them because we're programmed? Or do we do them, there are whole movies and TV series and books written about this. We're not going to solve it today. However, I have a thought for you. For those of you who joined a little late, I'm talking about how I felt when my coffee grinder wasn't working this morning. And that sense of being broken and of never deserving or having or just being able to have things that work or things go right. And I feel like I know I'm projecting, okay? But from what I see on Facebook, a lot of us are just, this was a hard year. It's even been just a hard few weeks. I've had to remind myself that I'm safe inside my house because the coronavirus is multiplying so drastically in our county. And that safety, the feeling that we're safe, the feeling that things are going to work for us, are going to go right. Exactly, Deb. Thank you. Gratitude for what does go right. I mean, gratitude obviously fixes this in a lot of ways, in almost every way, right? However, okay, I'm going to show you my brain and tell you something that has always helped me out of this dilemma. And I know I talk about I know quantum physics. I'm not saying I'm a scientist, and I'm not even saying I understand it completely right, okay? But I did almost major in physics, and I have studied it a lot, and I read a lot. And this one little mind trick has really helped me, and it comes out of that in a very simple way. So I'm looking at my notes, making sure that I haven't missed anything. Yeah. Because today is a day I need notes, man. High five. Can we high five for needing notes every now and then? And so it goes like this, the present, and we'll talk about this more because it's in one of my favorite books called The Order of Time. And he talks about how time is shaped. Excuse me. How that came from downing my last tiny bit of espresso that I finally got because I finally plugged it in the right hole. Oh, we're not going to say those things. Anyway, so the present is a stretched out kind of flat disc of a thing that is as broad and wide as you can imagine, really. It is measurable, by the way. We'll get into that. It's mind trippy. But it's big and it's broad, and the future and the past kind of narrow up. It looks kind of like a what are they called? Shoot. I didn't drink enough coffee this morning. But it's kind of like two cones put together with a really wide, flat in between, and that's the present. And so in a way, in one sense, all of reality is happening right now. Like every possibility, existence is happening in us
in these moments, in right now, all the time, absolutely right now. So for me, so the logic of it, if I can, and I would love somebody to tell me I'm wrong. I told you last week, I like finding out when I'm wrong so I can be right. I admit that I like being right. So tell me if I'm wrong. However, if everything is happening right now, if all of existence is in this moment, then what does that make imagination and dreams? This time of year, we often have this vision of how we'd like to be, even in just one area of our lives, what we would like to do, who we would like to become over the next year. And we make the goals, and maybe we don't even make the goals, but we hold that vision in our heads, right? And we just think, I'd like to go there, or be her, be him, that person inside of me that I've been trying to get to. And it doesn't make sense to me to feel any sense of potential or performance about those feelings. And it's because if everything is happening right now, in this moment, all of existence, all of your life, all of the universe's life, at least the solar system, but everything else, that's what's trippy about time, then your imagination, our imagination, is just as real as what we call reality. And so that girl who is inside of me that I tend to imagine and tend to think is so far away, so much work. I have to do so much work. I have to be so disciplined. I have to do all these things to earn that girl who's in my imagination. But if she's in my imagination, she's just as real as the girl who's sitting in front of you. And the person that you see inside of yourself is just as real as the person who is sitting, watching, and sitting with me. And maybe instead of looking at things in terms of earning or working for or finding the right process to even manifesting, I'm going to use I've been writing a book that has a lot to do with, it's a science fiction book. Anyway, I use a lot of sound metaphors, but this has changed for me. I'm not the first person to use this metaphor. Hello. Oh God, I'm not putting myself in the same world as Tesla or Einstein, but it is a matter of tuning. Maybe if we look at that ideal self inside of us as something that we tune into instead of earn or work for, maybe we can get closer to it. Maybe it's just a matter of tuning, and all the work and all the discipline and all of the retooling and change and making room for, and all those things that we associate with work and hard things that feel hard. Sure, I can't, when you're tuning through dials on a radio, if anybody does that anymore, it's in the movies, youngins. There's static, right? And static can be kind of uncomfortable to listen to. And I just want to enter this year with a sense of tuning. I want to tune my moments and days and weeks and goals and energy. I want to tune into that that reality, the real person who's in my imagination, who is who I am just as much as this person sitting on the screen to you. And I don't really know what she'll look like. I hope she still wears red lipstick and scrambles around. You know, I had somebody tell me once, oh, you're pressure motivated. You're pressure motivated. It was a nice way to put procrastinator. High five to the pressure motivated ones. But yeah, I hope that we can tune into this year. And I have a real sense of optimism about it. Yeah, right? The songs will come. Oh, that's a great extension of the metaphor. Thank you, Joe Carroll and Deb. And, you know, sorry, I'm having a little mind explosion. I'm thinking of all of the entrepreneurial things that I keep trying to do, and I keep not... Oh, I'm just going to judge myself here. It's okay. It's not even a judgment. It's just the reality. I'm not showing up as though I have a 9-to-5 job. And I think that's why. I think if I look at that kind of work with the same metaphor through the lens of tuning and not guilt or judgment of you need to work harder. Even with ideas, right? You have so many ideas. You just need to make one work. I mean, come on. People with fewer ideas have made things work. People with fewer ideas have created an income for themselves. La 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 la. Right? I usually don't listen to inner thoughts, but dang, now that I'm seeing it, I probably do. I want the person inside of my imagination. I want to honor the reality of that. And I do. I think that if you can think it, it's not that you can make it. It is that you acknowledge its existence, because reality is now. And if it's in your head, then it's possible. And it's not even just possible. See, I have the language. I'm still doing the language. It's not just possible. It is actually real. And so if we can just tune in, wow, right? I'm not going to keep going. In my family, my immediate family and my ex, we all have a joke that we all explain things 3 different ways when we're trying to share something, even though we all get it already. So I'm just thinking about, I don't know, what do you have inside of your imagination right now? Why do we disdain the imagination? If now is what reality is, then what is in our imagination is just as real. Sorry for the heater sound. But it's just as real. That maybe you sneak up on at New Year's. Sometimes I sneak up on this myself. Like, I think, oh, I don't want to scare her off that me that I can see inside of my head. Hi, Nancy. I'm sending hugs to you. It's not so much a sneaking up to, but we can tune in to the reality that is in our imaginations. Maybe that's where discipline comes, right? Because, and I mean discipline that comes from what do you want and who are you, and honoring those things. I don't feel that discipline brings those things. I think that discipline is a tool of those things. And maybe that's where a personal discipline comes, because God knows we can imagine like really rough, horrible things, right? Hello being a mother, and you know, knowing that your children are out in the world and you can't protect them anymore. I mean, the discipline of the mind, the discipline of the thoughts to really pick and choose and love and tune into the realities inside our minds that we want instead of the things that we don't. Okay, I don't mean name it, claim it. I don't mean even the law of attraction or manifesting. I just mean acknowledging that the things in our imaginations are part of this current reality, and that disciplining, right, and tuning in for what we want and want to make real, and using that metaphor, maybe want to get on the speakers, want to make louder, because it's all kind of there on the radio. That's a really good metaphor, actually. I think that might be a nicely direct one. You take a radio, you look at it, all those stations are all present as long as you can tune into them. And there's static in between, but that's still sound. So if we look at what's in our imaginations and we know it's just as real, even if we can't hear it yet, and we just need to keep turning the dial, sometimes way over. Sometimes we need to switch from AM to FM, maybe. Sometimes it takes finesse, right? And almost all the time it takes people saying, no, not that one, or over a little more. I mean, sharing the knowledge, right? So thank you for sharing who you are with me, and for allowing me to share my real self with you, the self that I don't sometimes realize is there because it's in my imagination and I haven't tuned into her yet. At some point we'll get into, to extend the metaphor, there are those little marks on the dial, right? Somebody's put those there. And so accessing shared knowledge and having a community of people is just as important as the inner work that we do with ourselves, right? Thanks for letting me talk about that, because that works for me on this first Sunday of the year where things went wrong and I just kept going with the imperfect action. And I hope that we all can find a sense of optimism and hope in this year with the words, we're going to just keep imperfectly acting, right? My friend, Aaron Michael Ritchie, an amazing writer, he once said to me, oh my God, way too long ago, but he once said, the universe honors action. And so I'm just going to keep taking those small actions. And I hope that you'll join me in those, and that we can tune this year. Let's just extend the metaphor into the entire year. Let's just do that together and help each other and speak about it. I will keep showing up here to do so. Hi, Jeff. Jeff's a great writer too. I should start putting links to all of your stuff, you guys, in the comments, or you can please share your art and your books and all the things that you do with us. I did make some notes because I didn't want to forget things, but that was my thought for today. Let's tune in. So thank you for being such a brilliant part of my community And okay, so we've gotten to the, okay, hang on. All right. Okay, I'm just doing a little bit of one of you I will be messaging because I did a little drawing to win one of the last, it's now, this is the 5th to the last of the copies of my first book, the first run, print run of my first book, The Oat Project. And I think, yeah. So I'll post it in the comments, and I hope you join me next week. I'll probably just be on my phone because I am done with learning with like it messing up on the webcam. Maybe I'll show you some of wonderful Colorado, if it's not burning or icing up or blowing away. Again, deep empathy to everybody who had such a hard time with the storms and the fires this week. And I just love you guys. That's really, if I could just sit on here and just speak my truth and repeat it, I would just be like, I love you, like I love you, and I appreciate you. And I hope that as you're doing the first week of this year, that you will tune it instead of trying to earn it. Okay, Happy New Year. I will see you next week, same time, maybe the same place. We'll see. Ciao.